In the quaint cookie-scented world of Lake Eden, Minnesota, Hannah Swensen, proprietor of the Cookie Jar Bakery, finds her life much like her intricate recipes, unexpectedly spiced with danger and intrigue. What begins with the exciting arrival of Connie Mack, the renowned TV chef, to film an episode of her popular baking show at Hannah's Bakery, quickly devolves into a baffling murder mystery. Hannah, with her keen observational skills and a penchant for solving puzzles, soon discovers that the glamorous world of television is far from what it seems, harboring secrets and simmering resentments beneath its polished surface. As the investigation into the sudden death of the show's producer Hunt Pantry unfolds, Hannah, aided by her ever-supportive mother Dolores, analytical dentist friend Norman, and cautious sister Michelle, navigates a web of deception. With the local sheriff Lonnie and prosecutor Chad, who also happens to be a burgeoning romantic interest, working the official angles, Hannah's amateur sleuthing uncovers surprising connections between the murder and a high-stakes local burglary trial. Every unexpected ingredient and twist leads Hannah closer to the truth, proving that sometimes the most dangerous secrets are baked right into reality. The movie opens with Hannah Swensen, a baker and owner of the Cookie Jar, reflecting on the unpredictable nature of baking, likening it to life's unexpected turns. She's busy rehearsing a play with her dramatic mother Dolores, who, despite playing a seamstress, insists on wearing a prominent necklace, citing inner dialogue motivation. The rehearsal is chaotic, with Dolores clashing with other actors, including Victoria. Amidst this, Hannah's sister Michelle arrives with exciting news. Connie Mack, the renowned TV chef, wants to film an episode of her show at the Cookie Jar. Hannah is thrilled, imagining the publicity, though Michelle points out that their friend Andrea isn't there to negotiate a better deal for Hannah. Dolores suggests Hannah consult AJ, their wardrobe designer, for more appropriate attire for the filming, leading to laughter about Hannah's vintage style. The producer Hunt Pantry soon arrives, explaining the last-minute nature of the filming. Hannah offers him coffee and a sugar-free, gluten-free cookie, while Norman, a friend, enjoys a blueberry muffin. Hunt then drops a bombshell: Connie Mack won't be doing all the baking herself, Hannah will be assisting her on screen. Hannah is initially hesitant but quickly warms to the idea of baking alongside her idol. As Hannah prepares to close the bakery for a few days for filming, her other friend Chad, a busy prosecutor, stops by to pick up a dozen blueberry muffins for his office. He's deep in preparation for a major trial against Lloyd Chaussee, a cat burglar who has plagued Lake Eden for years. Chad is confident, believing he has enough evidence, including DNA and cell phone pings, to convict Chaussee on multiple burglaries, not just one. He invites Hannah to attend the opening statement of the trial. The next morning, Hannah arrives at the bakery to find Hunt and the crew already setting up. She meets Evan, the food stylist, who will be working closely with her. Hannah is given the recipes for the day, and while going over them, she and Evan notice a missing crucial step in the chocolate mashed potato cake recipe: straining and mashing the potatoes separately. This small detail hints at Connie Mack's apparent lack of practical baking knowledge. Dolores, Hannah's mother, arrives, causing a minor stir, but is allowed to stay and watch. Finally, Connie Mack herself arrives, grand and poised. The filming begins, but it quickly becomes clear that Connie is more about performance than baking. During a segment on red velvet cake, Hannah subtly corrects Connie about folding, not whipping, egg whites. Connie, annoyed but on camera, thanks Hannah. Later, during a blueberry pie segment, Connie struggles and drops a finished pie, leading to more awkwardness. After the first day of filming, Hunt takes Hannah out to dinner. He apologizes for the day's mishaps and reveals a secret: Connie Mack knows nothing about baking. Her show is a carefully constructed illusion, a system set up by her mentor Buddy, who believed a female host would connect better with audiences even if she wasn't a culinary expert. Connie simply shows up late, allowing the crew and Evan to do all the real work. Hannah is disappointed by this revelation but agrees to keep the secret. She tells her mother about the day, expressing her frustration with Connie's lack of baking knowledge but admitting the show felt like a magician's show. The next morning, Hannah arrives at the Cookie Jar to find the door locked. She calls out for Hunt, but when she gets inside, she finds him huddled in a corner, unresponsive. She immediately calls the sheriff. Lonnie, the sheriff, arrives and begins investigating, taking statements from everyone involved with the show, including Evan, who appears reserved. The initial findings suggest Hunt's death was natural with no obvious injuries, though some signs of a struggle are noted. Hannah, however, is skeptical, noting Hunt's apparent good health. She shares her observations with Chad, mentioning Evan's possible resentment towards Hunt due to being a trained chef relegated to behind-the-scenes work. Hannah also speculates on Connie Mack having a motive to silence Hunt, though she doesn't elaborate. Meanwhile, the investigation into Chaussee's fence is ongoing, with pawnshop owners providing leads. Lonnie reveals that Hunt's wife Ainsley Bantry cannot be located and they haven't been able to notify her of his death. The police are pushing for a toxicology report and autopsy to minimize speculation, especially given the show's high public profile. Hannah visits Chad at his office, finding him deep in trial preparation. She shares an important detail she noticed when she found Hunt: his laptop was open to an article about the Chaussee trial. This strikes Chad as odd, and he notes it for the file, acknowledging Hannah's sharp observational skills. Later, Hannah and Michelle observe Connie Mack and her assistant Louise at a shop. Connie frequently touches her jaw, a new habit Hannah observes. When they approach, Connie and Louise are cordial but distant. Hannah offers her condolences and Connie expresses sorrow over Hunt's death, saying he was just getting the hang of her way of doing things. Louise mentions that Hunt raved about working with Connie and that his wife was never very friendly. Hannah notes Connie's jaw touching as a potential clue. Lonnie confirms that Hunt's death is now officially deemed a homicide and the cookie jar remains a crime scene. Hannah is frustrated by the closure but considers baking at home. She then spots Evan at a nearby table and decides to investigate. She and Michelle go to the hotel where the TV crew is staying, pretending to be looking for a room. The hotel staff is tight-lipped about their guests but reveals that Hunt's room is blocked off as part of the investigation. Hannah cleverly uses an offer of cookies to pry more information from the staff, learning that the crew booked rooms last minute, causing a staffing scramble. She wonders if Connie's frequent late arrivals were part of a larger plan. The scene ends with Hannah still trying to piece together the puzzle, with the mysterious behavior of Connie and the crew adding to the intrigue surrounding Hunt's death. Hannah reflects on the last-minute nature of the TV crew's arrival, finding it suspicious, especially with Hunt's wife not appearing in Lake Eden. Dolores, ever the drama queen, suggests the wife might have secretly come to town, murdered Hunt, and vanished, a perfect alibi. Lonnie the sheriff confirms Hunt's death is a homicide, likely by poison, though details are pending toxicology reports. Hannah shares her observation that Hunt, given his job, ate a lot of food prepared by others and had no known allergies, suggesting a possible method of poisoning. Lonnie also mentions the difficulty in locating Hunt's wife, who was reportedly at a yoga retreat. Hannah later observes Connie Mack touching her jaw, a new habit, and wonders if it's related to a struggle. Chad, while preparing for his trial, dismisses the idea of a struggle, suggesting the mess might be a result of the poisoning's severe side effects. The conversation turns to potential poisons, with Norman, Hannah's dentist friend, mentioning antifreeze. Hannah then reveals her big secret: Connie Mack is a fraud who knows nothing about cooking, leading Dolores to exclaim, "I knew it." They speculate that Hunt was protecting Connie's secret and perhaps blackmailing her, or that Evan, the food stylist, could be a suspect since he wanted to be a producer. Hannah, Michelle, and Norman discuss the strange circumstances surrounding the TV show's sudden arrival in Lake Eden, noting it coincided with the announcement of the Shasai trial. Hannah suggests a possible connection between Hunt's murder and Chad's case, particularly if Shasai had an accomplice. While Chad initially finds the idea far-fetched, he's intrigued by Hannah's intuition. Their conversation is interrupted by a car speeding past them, nearly hitting Chad, leading Hannah to believe it was intentional. At the play rehearsal, Dolores, still in character, attempts to get information from Louise, the costume designer for Connie Mack, about Hunt's wife. Louise, oblivious to Dolores's true intentions, reveals that Mrs. Bantry wasn't particularly friendly. Later, Hannah visits the hotel again and speaks with Bobby, a staff member who remembers Hunt as a good tipper who ordered the same appetizers and martini each night. Bobby also recalls a heated phone argument Hunt had outside his room on the night he died. Hannah suspects a marital dispute, while Michelle considers the possibility of Hunt having an affair. Chad begins his opening statement in the Shasai trial, presenting strong evidence including DNA and witness testimony. Meanwhile, Dolores receives a call hinting at developments in the murder case. During a spa visit, Dolores subtly probes Connie Mack, who admits that Hunt knew she couldn't cook and that his protection of her secret benefited his career. Connie also reveals that Evan had expressed interest in becoming a producer. Chad and Hannah bond during the trial, and he shares that he learned his quick reactions in the Marine Corps, where he was a judge advocate. They continue to search for answers, with Hannah even devising a lead magnet to get jailhouse employees to talk to Norman about Shasai. The mysteries of the murder and the burglary intertwine, promising more twists. Connie Mack expresses frustration to Dolores and Michelle that Hunt's wife Ainsley Bantry won't delay his memorial service for Connie to attend, finding it appalling. Meanwhile, Norman at his dental office subtly interrogates a jail employee about Lloyd Shasai. He learns Shasai received numerous care packages, mostly food and cigarettes, always with fancy handwriting and no return address, mailed from different parts of the country. Later, Chad informs Hannah that Ainsley Bantry's alibi for Hunt's murder, a silent yoga retreat, isn't as solid as she claims, with opportunities for her to have left unnoticed. Dolores, Hannah, and Norman discuss potential suspects: Connie, due to her secret, or Evan, who harbored ambitions to be a producer. They also speculate that the argument Hunt had the night before he died might be connected to his murder, possibly with a lover. The cookie jar reopens and Hannah is worried about customer turnout after the murder. Lonnie praises Chad's strong testimony in the Shasai trial, noting how Chad remained unfazed by cross-examination. Hannah asks Lonnie about the possibility of Hunt having an affair, but Lonnie hasn't found any evidence. However, he confirms that Hunt's last laptop search was for Shasai and thief, linking the two cases. Hannah, Michelle, and Dolores deduce that Lloyd Shasai has an accomplice responsible for the anonymous care packages and that Louise, the costume designer, is likely involved. They theorize that Louise's plan was to stage a copycat theft of Connie Mack's iconic necklace to create doubt about Shasai's guilt. They believe Hunt discovered this plot and confronted Louise, leading her to poison him with eye drops. To prove their theory, they devise a trap. Dolores pretends to leave town, announcing she's leaving her jewels at home, hoping Louise will attempt a break-in. Their plan goes into motion, but the power is cut and Louise appears. A struggle ensues, during which Louise shoots Norman, who bravely shields Hannah. Lonnie arrives and Louise is apprehended. It's revealed that Louise May is Lloyd Shasai's daughter, and she confessed to poisoning Hunt because he uncovered her scheme to help her father. The toxicology report confirms tetrahydrozoline, a substance found in eye drops, as the poison. Norman is recovering while receiving cookies for life from Hannah. The movie ends with Chad asking Hannah out on a date, sealing their burgeoning romance. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.